Get in there. Time. Tremendous pace. Oh, working, baby.
Over the course of my life, I've seen so many examples of how mindset and mentality can have a dramatically positive and a dramatically negative effect on people in their lives. My family and I have been through a lot over the last 10 years, a lot of which most people don't know about. I've seen it firsthand within my family. I've seen it firsthand with athletes I've worked with. I've seen it amongst teammates, other coaches, and just in things that I come across on a daily basis, how important controlling those thoughts between your ears can be. Confidence is such a tremendous tool and a tremendous positive for anything that you're going to do, and lack of confidence, that self-doubt, again, that lack of a tough mentality and mindset can be extremely detrimental in a million different ways. There's adversity that comes your way. There are shortcomings. There's a lot of different things that from a mental standpoint you can overcome and become significantly better from if you approach it the right way. After finishing my playing days in high school and then in college at Indiana University, I got to come across so many different people who had varying degrees of mental toughness, confidence, and all those things we're talking about from a mentality standpoint. Now that I've worked with athletes hands-on the opposite end of the spectrum as a coach and a trainer for the last 4 to 5 years more full-time, and even before that when I was in high school, I've had this understanding of how athletes can inspire me and athletes can inspire each other, and how hard that daily process, that daily routine, that daily commitment can be, especially when things don't necessarily go your way. One of my athletes approached me about this CraftWork concept, and we kind of ran with it. I really liked it. When you think about the word CraftWork, you think about a craftsman, and to people, a craftsman might be different things. What I always think of when I think of a craftsman is a carpenter or a woodworker. A carpenter has to be very good with his or her hands. They have to be able to do fine details. They have to be very skilled at taking something and making a masterpiece out of it. A carpenter can take a block of wood and visualize exactly what that's going to look like once he or she is finished with it. The same way for us with our craft work. We have to be able to have a vision, be able to visualize what that end result can look like, what we're trying to get to. The reality of it is that carpenter enjoys the fine details of the process. The carpenter understands how long it's going to take and all the details that go into it, step by step, to get to where they'd like that piece to be. It's the same thing with us in our craft work. We have to be able to commit to the daily process, the hard work, the details of what's going to go into everything that we're going to need to do to get to that point we'd like to get to. Along the way, I've always visualized a carpenter tweaking different things as they get closer to the end, finishing out the finer details, sanding down the finished product so it's polished. In anything that we do, we've got to be committed to putting in the work, to focusing on the details. As we improve and as we develop, continuing to find other ways, other pieces of our craft to get better at and to improve on. When I asked a couple people what craft work meant to them, in particular a couple of our athletes, one of the major themes that kept coming up was there can never be a satisfaction. You can never be satisfied. You always have to keep pushing towards that next goal, towards your next dream, towards your next vision. As you get closer to that result that you crave, if you're committed to the daily process, you're going to develop and you're going to improve. And as you get close to finishing, crossing that finish line, you're going to find that next opportunity that you really need to start working for and working at. The more we all work on this craft, the more we buy into this craft work concept, the more we're going to consistently find new goals, new visions, and new dreams to chase as we're chasing what we're doing right now. We have to stay committed every single day to doing whatever we can today to be better than we were yesterday. Work a little bit harder today than you did yesterday. Be a little bit tougher today than you were yesterday. Have a more positive mindset today than you did yesterday. It does not matter if you won yesterday or lost yesterday. It does not matter if you had a ton of success or a ton of failure yesterday. It doesn't matter if yesterday was the worst day you've ever had or the best day you've ever had. How can today be better than yesterday? Consistently commit to being better today than you were yesterday. Consistently commit to bettering your craft, to improving, to developing, and getting yourself closer and closer to the things that you'd like to achieve. Craft work to me is continuing to understand that no matter how good or bad that prior experience, that prior task, or that prior day was, I have to be better today. Stay hungry and committed to your craft work.